So the question is, can bites and stings from things like hornets and wasps trigger MS symptoms? Well, I didn't want to find out, but I did. Let's go. So I'm on my way back to the scene of the crime. So this morning I'm out trimming the bushes because it's overcast, it's slightly raining. It's fairly cool out here in terms of like low 70s. So I figured what a great day to work outside a little bit because it's been so hot here in North Carolina. And I come over here and I'm trimming these hedges behind me, making them all nice and square, very Minecraft-like. I'm thinking, what a fun time. And I get to this hedge right here. And I'm going to show you something because this is crazy. As I'm trimming that hedge, I get swarmed by wasps. I accidentally hit their nest, which is, by the way, freaking huge. Understandably, they get pissed at me and start biting the crap out of me. I get a bite on my finger, one on my leg, which I'll show you in this photo. And luckily I had taken an antihistamine this morning. But what I did notice is after about 5 to 10 minutes, the leg that I was bitten on started spasming like crazy. And I'm gonna put this in fast motion so you can see it. Then that got me thinking, do things like inflammatory bites from animals like bees and snakes and wasps and hornets, can that trigger an inflammatory reaction with multiple sclerosis? So I did some research. And the results are in, and it's pretty fascinating actually, though it logically makes sense. Let's dig into it. I'm going to be reading some of this to make it as accurate as possible. And in the meantime, don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share if you found this helpful. Pass it along to your friends and family so they understand what you with MS are dealing with. The answer is yes. A sting from a hornet, which belongs to the same family of insects as wasps and yellow jackets, can potentially cause an MS reaction, a symptom reaction, in the human body. While not a common occurrence, the mechanisms through which the wasp stings influence MS symptoms are generally applicable to a hornet sting due to their similar venom composition and the body's generalized response to such things. Now, I did find studies that support this. They'll be linked in the description below. I am not a doctor. I am not a healthcare provider. I am a bald, nerdy dude beep, boop, 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 beep, on YouTube with multiple sclerosis, just sharing my nerdy research findings with you because I think they're interesting. So check them for accuracy. All the information's down there. So it's noted there are 2 ways that the sting can impact MS symptoms, and we will go through them. Let's hop into it right now. Number 1 is indirect mechanisms, such as systemic inflammation and stress response. So in that category is the inflammatory response. A hornet sting, like a wasp sting, immediately triggers a localized inflammatory response. This can contribute to systemic inflammation throughout the body. In individuals with MS, whose immune systems are already dysregulated, this increased immune activity can act as a general stressor, potentially exacerbating the underlying autoimmune process and worsening existing MS symptoms, including muscle spasms and stiffness, which is pretty much what we saw in my leg. And that was interesting because it was not happening in the unstung leg, only in the stung leg. So it was very localized. It also happened in my hand where my finger was stung. I had some stiffness and spasms going on, but not in the other hand. And the second point on the indirect mechanisms is the physiological stress. A hornet sting can be painful and a stressful event. Stress is a well-documented trigger for MS exacerbations capable of precipitating new symptoms or worsening existing ones. Physiological stress response to a sting could therefore indirectly contribute to an MS flare. And we all know that any kind of mental stress also contributes to our MS symptoms. And I would say being attacked by a nest full of hornets is, I don't know, slightly stressful. At least it was yesterday. Okay, now the second listed item here is direct neurological complications. They are rare, but they are significant according to this report. So under direct neurological complications, it lists demyelination. And we know about demyelination because it is at the core most of the time of our multiple sclerosis. But this gets interesting because listen how it works with insect stings. In rare instances, the stings, including those from wasps and yellow jackets, which are related to hornets, have been linked to demyelination in the central and peripheral nervous systems.
Demyelination, the damage to the myelin sheath that protects the nerve fibers, we all know about that, is the hallmark of MS, and the proposed mechanisms include molecular mimicry, where the venom components resemble myelin proteins, causing the immune system to mistakenly attack its own myelin or release autoantigens, which actually trigger an immune response, which will trigger an autoimmune reaction. Interesting, right? Then there's encephalitis and other neurological issues. Now, if you don't know what encephalitis is, you're going to find out because I'm going to tell you right now. Hornet stings can, in very rare cases, lead to serious neurological complications, such as encephalitis, which is inflammation of the brain, seizures, or even strokes. These conditions can directly impact the nervous system, leading to symptoms like muscle weakness, trouble with balance, trouble with movement, irregular movements, altered sensations, which are all highly relevant to MS pathology. And on that note, there are case reports. Historical case reports have documented individuals with MS experiencing new neurological symptoms, including decreased strength and motor deficits following wasp or yellow jacket stings. In one case, an autopsy revealed extensive areas of necrosis, that's dead tissue and dead cells around stuff, and demyelination in the brain and spinal cord after a yellow jacket sting. Now, quickly, let's look at these case studies because I find them very interesting. This, of course, will be linked in the description below. The first one is exacerbation of multiple sclerosis following wasp stings. Here we go. We saw a 41-year-old man first diagnosed as having multiple sclerosis in 1993. After complaints of diplopia, which is basically vision issues, hand tremors, and lower extremity ataxia, which is similar to fatigue, the diagnosis was confirmed by a cerebral spinal fluid analysis and MRI, so basically lumbar puncture. He was treated effectively with interferon beta until 94, at which time he discontinued for financial reasons. In the spring of 1996, he had a 3-week episode of dysarthria, which is basically difficulty speaking, kind of like I deal with all the time. But since that time, he had remained symptom-free. In August of 1998, he presented to our clinic with a complaint of paresthesia, which is loss of feeling, in the right leg and gluteal region, so in his butt cheeks as well. 2 days previous, he had been working in his yard and was stung in the face multiple times by wasps, and his symptoms began the next morning. He denied any history of wasp or bee sting allergy. Upon his examination, he had decreased strength throughout his lower right extremity, and basically it goes on to say that, yeah, he had symptoms and was treated with steroids. And this is interesting. In 1960, it was reported a case of optic neuritis and another of sensory motor syndrome consistent with MS, both following a bee sting. In 1973, reported a 52-year-old woman with no history of neurologic disease who presented with multiple relapsing remitting neurological complaints following a yellow jacket sting. The patient died of cardiac arrest within 2 months of the sting. An autopsy showed multiple areas of necrosis is speak for dead matter, and demyelination in the brain and spinal cord. Now, of course, we have to read between the lines here, and there is a lot of detail, and it does not indicate she died of complications from this stuff. I mean, she was 52 years old. Maybe there was something else going on, but it's interesting that they did note that. And as they note here, cause and effect have not been proven. And on that note, it says here, symptoms to monitor. Given these potential links, individuals with MS should be vigilant for any new or worsening neurological symptoms after a hornet sting, even if the initial reaction seems mild. These symptoms could include new or increased muscle weakness, worsening or new onset of muscle spasms, spasticity as I'm struggling to say it, altered sensations such as numbness, tingling, or burning or electrical shock-like feelings. It's like every day for us, right? This is nothing new. Changes in vision. Yeah, duh, all the time. Confusion, agitation, and hallucinations. I don't know if I have any hallucinations, though I'm pretty sure I'm going to win the Tour de France. I can see it already. Oh. And seizures is last on that list. Of course, again, I'm not a doctor. This is just a report I found. I do highly suggest if you've been attacked by something like a wasp or a hornet's nest or any of that stuff, talk to your doctor. And on here it notes there are severe allergic reactions, which basically require immediate medical attention. Those are things like anaphylaxis, which induces trouble breathing, swelling of the face and throat, dizziness, and rapid pulse, and immediate medical attention is absolutely crucial. So there you go. It's a thing. There's something to it, and there is documented cases of it. Have you been stung by a bee, hornet, wasp, or bitten by a snake and had MS symptoms that were noticeable? I want to know. comment below. And of course, as always, I really appreciate everybody out there watching and commenting and liking and subscribing and sharing, because we're growing the channel, we're having fun, and we're learning a lot in the process. I'm Cliff. This is Life with MS. I hope I made your Monday just a little bit better. I'm out.